What's happening, everybody? It's your boy EasyVictus here with another video for all of your animated show and movie related needs. Today, my piece will be discussing and ranking each student from class 1A from My Hero Academia, from worst to best. The rankings will be based on how well they can use their quirk in a situation to hurt, swindle, outsmart, evade, etc. an enemy. Because we have to make sure this is fair, right? We can't just let all the power types waltz around and have the spotlight. Too many tryhards in here, obviously. Without further ado, let's start shaming and then slowly gratifying these students and their quirks, shall we? 20. Certified worst. Mashiro or Jiro. Quirk, tail. So many of you can probably understand his placing due to his quirk just being a very large tail. Honestly, I think we all have a few questions about why particular people are even in this class to start with. Because it's supposed to be the next most prestigious class in the entire most prestigious school for heroes. But I mean, come on. The tail is used for hitting bad guys, that's really it. I don't really understand how this can become any better than what it already is. It's just like a big long fist coming out right above his butt. So his superpower is 3 fists? How awesome. Not. 19. Monero Mineta. Quirk, pop off. It must not come to much of a shock that Mineta would come to be this low on the list. He is literally a 3'6" perv who cries and runs away from most battles. But he makes it to number 19 based off of the usefulness of his quirk. We've seen much more of Mineta using his pop-off to actually hold his own in a fight and be a mostly reliable support boy, even if he annoys them in the process. He was able to take on Nemuri Kayama and come out on top, who is a pro hero, I might add. Number 18, Toru Hakikur. If I'm saying that correct, I don't know. Quirk, invisibility. Have you ever wanted to create some mischief and never get caught for it? Maybe sneak out of the house or steal some Starburst from your local liquor store without getting into trouble? Well, then Toru Hakigur is living your best life. Her quirk enables her at all times to be completely invisible, meaning that she has a very high ceiling for possibilities for her full potential. Not being able to see your enemy would be quite hard to deal with, even harder if that enemy is taught in any type of fighting technique and is halfway good at it. Toru isn't specifically a great fighter, but she's pretty smart and technical, making her somewhat of a force to be reckoned with. She also can become a very bright rainbow-looking girl at certain times to blind or incapacitate enemies if she wants, which is pretty cool too. Number 17, Yuga Aoyama. Quirk, belly button, or navel laser. Yuga Aoyama is the most fabulous and shiny boy in class 1A and loves to be the center of attention. His quirk is quite powerful actually, as it has been used to cut right through really any material that we have seen him use it on. The downside though to his quirk is sadly he can't use it continuously for more than a second. Otherwise, it gives him a very bad stomachache and a bad case of the poops. The main reason he is so low on the list is for this reason. Even though his quirk is quite powerful, it's very limited to how often and how long it can be used without causing the user too much pain. Number 16, Meso Shoji. Quirk, duply arms. Shoji is one large dude. I mean, compared to everyone else in the class, he stands at a big old 6'1.5" and is pretty damn built too. His quirk allows him to create multiple limbs that can sport a few different kinds of appendages, like an extra eyeball, or an ear, or maybe just another fist. This along with his huge wingspan, I guess if you could call it that, or I guess web span. I mean, he can't fly, but it looks like he could. He is a very suitable and protective shield for others. He's been seen on multiple occasions shielding or keeping other students in his class safe during tests by the school or in villain battle. He is pretty well suited to fight on his own with his strength, intelligence, and limbs, but he is best placed as a support hero, able to scope out enemies at a distance. This is where he shines the brightest, helping others or specifically his fellow hero friends. Number 15, Honta Zero. Quirk, tape. Do you ever need to fix that stubborn leak in your $15 kiddie pool? Or maybe you broke your favorite pencil in the world? Honta Zero has you covered. His quirk allows him to shoot out tape from right above his elbows, able to shoot at pretty long distances and cut it off at will as well. Due to its very sticky and maybe more durable than duct tape properties, it can be used for a very wide variety of tasks, like subduing an enemy with a quick wrap around of it and then throwing them into something, or if working with another hero, he can just tape them up after they've been defeated so they won't go anywhere. Its usefulness with, say, stopping a collapsing structure is still yet to be seen, but I don't know why he couldn't stop, say, a large wall or a pole from collapsing on somebody, which would be pretty badass. Number 14, Mina Ashido, quirk Acid. Mina is the best dancer and fighter in all of Class 1A. Her quirk allows her to secrete and spray acid from basically anywhere on her body. This can be used to burn and very much hurt an enemy, or she can use it, funny enough, as a sort of a slip and slide. By spraying acid on the ground and sliding on top of it, increasing her mobility, she's also able to increase the acid's viscosity or thickness, to where she can block incoming projectiles by melting them away as they come, such as someone's fist, weapons, etc. Which, if you think about it, is pretty damn scary. Think about trying to hit her and your hand just freaking melts off. I mean, that would be crazy, man. Number 13, Usui, quirk Frog. You're not alone if you're confused and think this quirk would be rather plain. I mean, she's basically just a frog, right? Well, yes, but she is actually one of the most competent heroes on this list. She has fighting chemistry with many of the students of Class A, meaning she can work and do well as a support or the primary hero in most groups. If any fights happen in the water, she has a 99% chance of winning due to her being stronger, faster, and more agile in the water than on land. She's able to fight up close and personal or with ranged attacks with her tongue. Plus, if you must make a quick getaway, her jumping distance is quite extraordinary. She's an all-around solid hero. Number 12, Rikido Sato, quirk Sugar Rush. Sato, instead of getting an upset stomach and a crazy case of the poops whenever he eats a ton of sugar, increases his strength 5-fold for 3 minutes, but for every 10 grams of sugar he eats, he extends it 3 more minutes. All things considered still, that's pretty cool. There are many times I've rethought my life situation whilst on the toilet, cursing the food that brought me there, but Sato, he turns it into opportunity. What a guy. But he has been seen able to punch straight through Ken Ishiyama's cement, so he isn't someone to be taken lightly. 5-fold strength is quite the power-up. The only drawback, though, to his amazing strength is that sadly, whenever he ingests 10 grams after 10 grams of sugar over and over and over again, he prolongs his strength time, but at the cost of his cognitive ability. Meaning he just gets really sleepy after a while, meaning he only is a viable hero for that long, for that certain amount of time, whether that be 3, 6, 9, 12 minutes, pick or choose. That's not all that great. But he has been working on controlling it for longer, and maybe in season 5 we will see a longer sugar rush, hopefully so. Number 11, Ochako Uraraka, quirk Zero Gravity. It honestly hurts to put my girl Ochako this far on the list, but I mean, it's honestly appropriate. This isn't all to say her quirks are bad whatsoever, just compared to other students in the class, this is where she falls. Her quirk allows her to make anything she touches float, even herself if she wants to, but only for short times because she gets a little bit nauseous. This quirk has a very high ceiling when it comes to possibilities, from dropping very large objects onto enemies, making your enemies float, helping your fellow heroes fly per se, etc. She has also shown a lot of strength and cunning in the fights we have witnessed, especially her bout with Bakugou during the tournament thing, I forgot what it was called. She also has a lot of potential, and whenever she perfects using it on herself, she will be an even stronger hero because of it. Number 10, Koji Koda, quirk Voice. Koji has the ability to talk to any animals or bugs that he feels like, but not just that. He can make them do his bidding, whether that be subduing or maybe even killing an enemy, which is pretty crazy to me. This quirk has so much room to grow due to its user being pretty shy and timid and not using it to its full power whatsoever, not even close. If he wanted to, he could make whatever poisonous, nasty, vile creatures attack his opponents that he wanted to. Just imagine 15, 30, maybe even 45 hawks just coming down and pecking you to death. That would be a pretty bad way to go. And Koji is the only one who could help you, or hurt you in this case. He himself has grown tremendously with his quirk as the show has progressed, but he is miles away from using it at its full capacity. Number 9, Denki Kaminari. Quirk, electrification. Denki's quirk is quite simple. He can create and control how much electricity he generates from his body, kind of like a human Pikachu. His quirk is amazing, but it can mostly only be used in close, middle quarter combat, making him vulnerable to people with quirks that can attack from long distances. His quirk can completely paralyze and immobilize people, and with the invention of his new disc things that can help strengthen his quirk, he has grown a good bit as well. But there is one downside. He can only go up to 1,300,000 volts before his brain short circuits and he becomes literally stupid for an hour. Or he can sustain 2 million volts for a shorter time span, but it is out of commission just the same. Overall, he is very powerful, but only at the right time and the right place, sadly. Number 8, Kiyoka Jiro. Quirk, earphone jack. Kiyoka has a quirk that's pretty similar to two different pro heroes, who are Gang Orca and Hisashi Yamada. She is able to incapacitate or even break the ground from underneath her opponents with her vibrations and sound waves she emits from herself. Judging by the fact that a lot of enemies will have auditory receptors, she is pretty damn effective against anybody that she will or has gone up against. But she has also been quite useful without her quirk, showing her intellect and fighting ability in battle while using a sword or even whipping people with her earphone jacks, which I'm guessing would have hurt a great deal. She is so powerful because her quirk can be used indoors, outdoors, close quarters, far away. It makes her pretty strong. Number 7, Tenya Lida. Quirk, engine. Tenya's quirk is quite simple. He has small little mufflers on the back of his calves that can make him run very, very fast. Also, improving the strength and speed of his kicks, which you can guess is his primary way of attacking enemies. It's not really his quirk that makes him so powerful, but Lida himself. He is a natural born leader and a very good fighter. Stopping at nothing to become a great hero, he pushes himself constantly to better his quirk, make himself jacked, and defeat bad guys. He also has faced numerous villains, albeit with help most times. He nonetheless defies the odds and comes out victorious. His Recipro Burst, as well as the Recipro Extend and Recipro Turbo, all make Tenya move at dizzying speeds, making him extremely hard to hit and not get hit by. He is a force to be reckoned with for sure. Number 6, Momo Yaoyorozu. Quirk, creation. Momo's quirk is nothing short of absolutely amazing. She's a genius who is by far the smartest person in her whole class, and who actually has taught students in her own class before. Her quirk allows her to make anything she wants out of her own body lipids, which depending on how much she's eaten will determine how many things that can be made or how big they are, etc. There's another thing though. She has to understand the molecular structure of the items she creates before creating them. So if she doesn't understand an object, she can't just make it out of thin air. But due to her genius great intellect, that's never really been a problem for her. So by her own volition, she can be ready and prepared for countless fights with different people and different quirks. The only downside is, like I said before, her body uses lipids to create the items from her quirk. So there is definitely a limit. But eating a lot really helps with it, so she has room to make her quirk better as time goes on, with more intelligence that she will acquire, as well as maybe a bigger stomach. Number 5, Ijiro Kirishima. Quirk, hardening. Oh my, have we started to love the living hell out of Kirishima. He only wants to protect and be a fantastic hero like his hero, Crimson Riot, which is literally what he named himself, Red Riot, which is pretty derivative and is kinda lame, but anyways, let's get back to it. He is a very headstrong, intelligent, and hard-working boy who does not give up, and his quirk works really well with his attitude. His quirk allows him to harden whatever parts of his body that he wants to, whether that be his arms, legs, or everything, including his eyeballs too. This basically makes him into a giant rock that hurts when it hits you or you hit him. Double whammy, baby. As you could guess, he is very well used in close quarter combat because he has no ranged attacks. But he does close quarter almost better than anyone else. He can take so much damage due to his hero ability, Red Riot Unbreakable. In this state, he is impervious to almost any kind of attack for about 30 to 45 seconds, although he is working on extending that time frame, which would be crazy. So due to his hard work on improving himself and his quirk, he deserves this high spot. He is quite awesome. Number 4, Fumikage Tokiyami. Quirk, Dark Shadow. Let me just get this out of the way, okay? Tokiyami would be, if not the most powerful hero out there, if light did not make his dark shadow calm down. Now that I said that, Fumikage's quirk is the ability to summon a dark shadow or an embodiment of his dark self that is pretty damn useful. It can fight up close or far away, and is quite durable. Even in the sunlight, it has strength to fight even some of the strongest heroes in Class 1A, and is honestly quite scary to behold. Tokiyami can also make the dark shadow encircle his entire body so he himself can be good at close quarter combat, or he can make it detach to hit someone far away. The only reason he isn't higher on the list is because some people have the ability to create fire and calm down his dark shadow in the dark, which is yet, in my opinion, to show its true potential. Taking out the top grade villain Moonfish in a matter of seconds is something not to be taken lightly whatsoever. Number 3, Katsuki Bakugou. Quirk, Explosion. Bakugou is and has always been one of the strongest heroes we have seen in the entirety of the show. It's weird that most of these characters are actually on par with some of the pro heroes already, but I mean, they are the most prestigious class after all, so it kind of makes sense. His quirk allows him to create explosions with his sweat, which acts just like nitroglycerin. He is very potent up close or far away, making him a very tough opponent to go up against and a very strong hero. His lack of empathy also is one of his strengths, which makes him not hold back or care about injuring his enemy. So he is usually going at 100% of his capacity whenever he does get into a fight. He has also been shown injuring Midoriya, Todoroki, and All Might himself, so his power is on par with some of the greatest heroes and villains alive. The last 2 spots have been really hard for me to pick because these 2 heroes are very much on the same level of power or power that they can achieve, but one of them has a ceiling that has yet to be touched per se, but we will get to that later. At number 2, we have Shoto Todoroki. Quirk, half cold, half hot. His quirk allows him to create ice or fire at his own will, whether this be for short, medium, or long range attacks. He can do them. He is a very calm and collected man and never wants to show off too much, and until recently wouldn't even use his entire right side or his fire side at all. With the amount of power he can create from his cold side to go toe to toe with Midoriya, the 9th holder of One for All, is amazing to say the least. He himself is the son to the once was second best, now top 1 pro hero, Endeavor, so his true potential is miles away. He has very much to grow, and with what we have seen with Endeavor's own power of just fire alone, we can't wait to see what he can do. Number 1, you all probably knew it, but at first place, we have Midoriya. I mean, it was just gonna happen. Quirk, One for All. His quirk is one of the simplest, believe it or not. It's a power-up quirk, or a strength quirk, whatever you'd like to call it. He can increase the strength, therefore the speed, as well of his entire body, all the way up to All Might's own power, who is the former number 1 hero and is feared by almost every single villain in existence. At the moment, he can only go up to 20% of his power, and this is with great discomfort, and he can't hold it for a long time. Well, he can go up to 100%, but then he starts breaking bones and ligaments, so he tries not to, but always ends up doing so, he's kind of stupid. One very peculiar thing though is that we have seen him use 1,000,000% of his power, yes 1,000,000, to destroy the muscle boy who almost killed him and Kota, which makes me think, what if every single person who has had One for All has been increasing the power by 10-fold and no one has gone past their quote unquote 100% before? Because if he's able to go to 1,000,000%, who's to say a billion or a trillion isn't possible? It's just a theory, but hey, I like to think so. So there you have it, everybody. So yes, you right there. How did you like the video? If you didn't like it or liked it, please just let me know in the comment section down below. I love to hear every single one of your all's opinions. Make sure to stay notified when my next video comes out by clicking my big old noggin right there to subscribe. I post new videos, or try to at least, every Tuesday and Friday, and sometimes throughout the week randomly about animated TV shows. And check out one of my videos here that you all have graciously gotten upwards of 30,000, now 40,000 views, which is how did Aang die in Avatar: The Last Airbender show series. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and have a fantastic day. Okay.